Neil Gittleman here, Artistic Director and Conductor of your Dayton Philharmonic Orchestra, and welcome to Piano Bench Chat number 16. That was, of course, the very beginning of the second movement of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. Now you might ask, well, Neil, why'd you just stop there? Well, I'll tell you a secret. The first rule of playing orchestra scores at the piano is you play what you can and you leave everything that you can't play out. In this case, I know I can play the first few bars, and after that, it just gets awfully hard for my piano playing. That's why we have an orchestra. Nobody really wants to hear an orchestra piece played on the piano. You want to hear it played by the orchestra. Of course, that's one of the problems that we have now, because orchestras like the Dayton Philharmonic, we can't play for you because of COVID-19 and assembly bans and safety and all of that sort of thing. But we can play for you virtually. In fact, just a few days ago, we launched our first Dayton Performing Arts Alliance summer stream of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, a multimedia presentation taken from our season opening spectacular from September 2016. What I did was I took the broadcast recording of the music and photographs that were taken and also video clips that were taken at the dress rehearsal and put them together to create a recreation or a reinterpretation of that really cool performance that we did of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. It's a great program, and it's easy to see, and it's free to see. All of our streams during the summer are free. All you have to do is go to DaytonPerformingArts.org, the Dayton Performing Arts Alliance website. You'll see it right there, summer streams. Click on that, register, which just means you give us your contact information, and then you'll be able to access not only the Beethoven Ninth stream, but all the other summer streams as they come online during the summer. Now, this is a piano bench chat, but we're going to adjourn from the piano bench, and I'm going to take you upstairs to my computer desk and show you how a little bit of that second movement of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony was put together. So here we are in my messy study at the computer desk, and I'll start showing you how the beginning of the second movement of Beethoven's Ninth comes together as a video. I start with the music because it's all going to go to the music, so I pull in the broadcast audio, and there it is, and I play it, and I hear. So the first thing I want at the very beginning is a picture of the manuscript. It's a photograph that I took. I actually am lucky enough to own a facsimile edition of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony in his own handwriting. It's very messy, but I use that in the video stream at the start of each movement. So I track that down in my list of images. Beethoven 9, second movement manuscript, page 1. And I pull it in here and put it there right as the music begins. And then you see. Then I have a picture of the dancers. That is going to be the first image that you see. And I will now pull that into my video timeline. There's a second image that I want to use a little bit later, so I pull that down into the timeline as well, and it comes in right where I want it in the music. I'll come back to it a little bit later. Then there's a third image that I've selected, and I'll pull that in at the place that I want it as well. Now I'll start getting things to move. The first thing I need to do is fill in the time. Right now, these are all very short, And I'm going to stretch this so it fills in the time. Similarly, for this image, pull it over so it fills in the time. And similarly for the second image, so it goes until the third one comes. And right now, what we have looks like this. And so on. But that image is just sitting there. I want it to move. This is where we use the magic of the Ken Burns effect. I don't know how Ken Burns and his techs figured this out, but they did. Now we don't have to figure it out. It's just a feature. So I go to this image and I select the Ken Burns effect. There it is. You can see Ken Burns on the, right there. And you see I see these two images. The green one is where we start and the red one is where we end. So I'm going to take the green one and I want to kind of start in the sort of mysterious darkness of the screen behind the orchestra and sort of go from the darkness and gradually pull out so I can see all of the dancers. But as you see the red square here where we would be ending, you can't quite see all of the dancers, so I'm going to make it, choose the red one, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Still needs to be a tiny bit bigger so we can get Brian's arm in the frame. And there we have it. And now I'll click done. And this is what that sequence will look like. You can even look at it on the full screen. Coming from darkness, gradually pulls back. And even Brian's arm is in the screen. Next, I have this image of the 4 female dancers. And here what I'm going to do first is I'm going to zoom in on them and then move across from left to right. So the first thing I do is I'm going to break this image into 2 separate ones, and I'll do it by listening to the music. And that will be the point where we start to pan across. So I'm divided into 2. And once again, I rely on the Ken Burns effect. And I want to end here. I'm going to grab the ending box and slide it over. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller so we basically have the dancers from their feet to their fingertips. And so we're going to end the zoom so that we're sort of focused here on Josie's hand. And we're going to come in from a wider view. So I'm going to grab the green box, the starting box, and we'll start kind of wide and then zoom in, and I can just play that to test it. That looks pretty good. I'm just going to say done. And then what I want to do is I want to start where I ended here on this zoom in, and I want to pan across the screen. So this is a little tricky. I copy the Ken Burns information here, and I copy it from the first clip to the second half of the clip. Now when I open up the Ken Burns effect here, it's exactly the same thing, starting out wide and then zooming in. But I want to start here where I ended. So I click on this little button, which flips the start and end point. Presto, now the start is where I had finished before. And all I need to do is adjust the end point. So I'm going to pull the end point so it matches in size. Doesn't quite match yet, but it will soon. And now I'm going to pull the end point across so that we're panning from left to right and we catch all 4 of the ladies in a little bit of a close-up. And I'll test it. Good. I hit click done. I'm happy. And from that, we end up on the guys. And I'll probably do a similar sort of thing here with Ken Burns. Make it a smaller image. Zoom in like on Isaac's face and his hand. So we've got that. It's a smaller, basically getting Isaac's torso and his hand in the picture. And then we're gradually going to move to the left and gradually get bigger until we see all 4 of the guys. Let's test that, see how that looks. Pretty good. And now we can watch the first minute or so. And that's how the first minute or so of the second movement of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony comes together in a multimedia presentation. To see the whole thing, remember, just go to DaytonPerformingArts.org, click on Summer Streams, register, and you can see our multimedia version of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. It's really pretty cool. We hope you enjoy it. It's not the same as live, but it's the best we can do right now. And as soon as we can get back to performing live in the fall, fingers crossed, everyone stays healthy, we will do that. In the meantime, stay tuned for more virtual performances from your Dayton Philharmonic, Dayton Opera, and Dayton Ballet.